Year of changes and transitions, of strides and regression. As we embark upon 1988, Bobby Batista takes a look back at '87.
We start our report with Wall Street, the king of ups and downs, and the Monday we watch the Bulls head out and the Bears come back to town. The miniskirt made a comeback too, so hemlines went zooming up. Though Spuds MacKenzie, who dresses down, won the honor of Best Plaid Pup. Morris the Cat threw his feline hat in the ring for the Oval Office, but Joseph Biden moved to take his back out with some help from the aides of Dukakis. Some monkey business in Washington with model Donna Rice appeared to leave Gary a broken heart. It seemed no excuse would suffice. But now he's back in the race again without his Miami Vice. Meanwhile, Pat Schroeder announced she'd bow out. Then she publicly broke down. And public breakups made the news as the Big Chill iced the crown. Joan and Peter were on the outs, and Sly and Brigitte split. And no one knows if Sean's material girl will kick him out for quits.
I don't know who to trust.
President Reagan
Douglas Ginsburg gave up hope as his dreams went up in
I was
smoke.
deeply honored to have.
Though Gore and Babbitt came right out and said they'd tried a toke. While the men owned up to getting high, some women were low on life, feeling down due to studies that dimmed their hopes of becoming someone's wife. Jim Baker let the partners down. Tammy cried for Jimbo.
I don't think I'm bitter anymore.
While Jessica let it all hang out, proclaiming, "I'm no bimbo." Vanna found out photographs can turn more heads than letters. But Fawn turned down a photo spread and left her fame to shredders.
I shredded 12, 15, 18 pages at once.
The whole truth.
Ollie went down in history as the fall guy who was tops. But it took Poindexter to point out just where the buck had stopped.
The buck stops here with me.
And remember the uproar and all the to-do when the Pope took a tour of the States? And Rather's walkout that caused a blackout when that tennis game ran late? And the football players who let fans down with that everlasting strike? And the image of Liz and Malcolm out together on a bike. Well, now it's time to look ahead, ring out the old, and wait for the ups and downs and ins and outs in store for '88. I'm Bobby Batista, CNN reporter.
We'll be back. The Big Apple ushers in 1988. Headline news, I'm David Goodnow. Hundreds of thousands of revelers packed into New York's Times Square to watch the apple drop and greet '88. And around the globe, the festivities continued. In London, the new year is several hours old. Nearly 50,000 people welcomed in the new year in Trafalgar Square. Mounted police were on full alert to control rowdiness, which has marred past celebrations. Tokyo rang in the Year of the Dragon with religious ceremonies, fireworks, and island dancing. This is the most important holiday of the year in Japan, and festivities last for 3 days. Back in New York, revelers withstood the blustery temperatures to partake in the festivities. Charles Feldman has more on the Times Square tradition.
For many people, Times Square nostalgia go hand in hand. Like an old black and white newsreel from the 1930s, Times Square is left a surrealistic montage of images burned forever into the mind's eye. A fantasy land of glowing, pulsating lights and countless people in perpetual frenzied motion. That is the fantasy. That is the nostalgia. This is the reality. The seediness of Times Square is as vivid as the color tape of the 1980s.
It's a center of crime. There's 7 crimes a day reported on 42nd Street, and God only knows how many more that take place that are not reported on the block.
But now, after a prolonged wait, Times Square is poised at the threshold of a dramatic rebirth. Despite almost 30 lawsuits aimed at stopping it, a redevelopment program appears to be finally about to get into high gear. 4 large office towers and a merchant's smarter plan. But backers of the plan say historic Broadway theaters will be spared the demolition ball.
Governors and mayors have always claimed that they were going to clean up Times Square, and they've been unable to do it. Now we're really on the brink of doing it, and we think we will do it.
But Times Square is already well into its transitional phase. Construction sites abound, and the huge Marriott Marquis Hotel on Broadway has indeed brought more affluent tourists back to the area in droves. But some more artistic critics argue that new buildings in Times Square ought to be better suited than the Marriott Hotel is in terms of fitting into the unique visual scheme of the area.
It isn't as well designed as it could be in that it sort of turns its back on the street. Its ground level is dead. It's kind of a magnet. It's hard. It doesn't contribute to the vitality of street level life, and that's the genius of this area.
The calendar may say 1988, but for Times Square it is clear the 21st century is about to begin. Charles Feldman, CNN, New York.
Exactly what the new year 1988 holds for us, but some people think they have a good idea. Jeannie Mose explains.
If you have an inquiring mind, a predilection for predictions, have we got 2 psychics for you? Psychics willing to predict everything from Ronald Reagan's successor to Johnny Carson's future.
And it's a year when you won't see Johnny Carson. He will step down from his throne.
He's flattered by a paternity suit, but swears he's innocent.
Wendy, she goes by her first name only, is president of the Professional Psychics of America. Her most recent claim to fame is that she predicted the October 19th stock market crash to the week in a newsletter 3 months before it occurred. Among her predictions for 1988,
Soviet leader Gorbachev will survive an assassination attempt.
As for Ronald Reagan,
President Reagan will not finish his term in office due to illness.
In last January's National Enquirer, psychic Sean Robbins predicted Michael Jackson would give up singing and become a TV evangelist. We're still waiting. Robbins is best known for her prediction that an American Airlines DC-10 would crash in the Midwest 2 weeks before such a crash actually occurred. On the question of who will be the next president, our 2 psychics are split.
Bob Dole is going to be president in 1988.
I see the Democratic nominee will win the presidency. He's going to be a charismatic fireball who resembles Ted Kennedy.
And what's in the stars for certain celebrities?
Jackie O. She'll have a secret marriage with a rich automobile executive.
Madonna in 1988. We know she's going back to Sean Penn. We know that she's going to leave him again, but this time she's not leaving without a baby.
Joan Collins. She'll need minor surgery in an area of the body that men would love to peek at.
Even psychics have to leave something to the imagination. Jeannie Mose, CNN, New York.
That's our report for this half hour. Thanks for joining us and Happy New Year. I'm David Goodnow. Around the world in 30 minutes, this is Headline News.